Was the dark of the moon, the 6th of June, to Kenworth, hauling logs. Cab over Pete with a reefer on, and a Jimmy hauling hogs. We was heading for broke down High 10, about a mile out of Shaky Town. I'll let the rest of my audience see if they can remember how that phrase ends. I might be dating myself here, but everything going on right now with the supply chain shortage, it happened 43 years ago, back in the mid to late 70s. That was a line from a song called Convoy. And it was a trucker protest at the time, turned into a movie, but I think it's instructive to show what's really happened and why there are cargo container ships backed up as far as the eye can see off the coast of California, but we're not having the same problem in Florida. You'd have to ask yourself the question, why? Where are all the truckers? Because that's the real issue. They don't have enough guys to put in trucks to haul this stuff to where it has to go. You see, the golden age of trucking back in the 60s and 70s was a job for cowboys. And cowboys originated not in Texas, but in Florida. The whole culture of the cowboy, the freedom that the road gave you, you see, that's all been taken away. All of the great things about trucking and being a truck driver, the left has destroyed it. The left has turned it into another job that's just one step short of being an indentured servant. And these guys had had enough of that. There had been so many things they had had to compromise on. The very reason they got into the job, a very dangerous job, a job that's hell on your health. All of the good things, they were all taken away. You see, there was a time when men like this were valued in our society. And yes, by the way, Han Solo, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back came out the same time. He was a space trucker. Smokey and the Bandit, you see, that was the only version of team driving that existed back then. It was just you, the truck, and the wind and the open road, and you had freedom to do what you wanted to do and do it on your schedule. Truckers were independent contractors, and for some strange reason, back then, women gravitated to truckers like nobody's business. They even had made a movie about it. Actually, a few of them. But now they can't get people to show up. They can't get people to get a CDL. Every single truck you see on the road right now has a sign on the back of it, and it's been that way for years. Drivers needed huge bonuses, money galore, benefits, all this kind of stuff. They still can't get people. Well, there's a reason. The left took it over. The left took over transportation in this country, and like everything else, they ruin it. They absolutely destroy it. In this video today, I'm going to give you some insight because, full disclosure, I had a Class A CDL. I drove a big truck over the road and realized it was nothing like what they advertise it to be. In the modern world, it is as close to being, and I'll use the word, or at least a version of the word that's safe for YouTube, an indentured servant as you can possibly get. It went from being a job where you're about as free as you could be to the exact opposite. Speaking specifically of over-the-road drivers. Now, regional drivers are one thing. Guys that drive the cement trucks and the dump trucks, that's a whole different thing. That's local driving. What I'm talking about is over-the-road driving. And what you need to know. And the first thing that ruined it was the mandatory team truck driving. What that is they put two people that usually don't know each other at all in a truck, and you're stuck with that person for at least 2 weeks in this little tiny cramped sleeper cab with two little bunks. And the worst part is you will be driving, meaning you will be sitting in that seat 11 hours a day. 11 hours. And the time that you're not sitting in that seat under that amount of stress, you're going to be either laying down in the bunk or sitting in the tiny little chair in the back or maybe in the side seat. But one way or the other, it's hell on your health. You get no exercise. You don't get any real fresh air. You don't get any real relaxation from it. And this is a compilation of the pictures that they use to try to advertise. Trust me when I tell you, there are almost no women in trucking at all. In fact, I think it's like 7%, 93% are men, and almost all over the age of 45. And not that that's necessarily an issue, but if there's a group of people in this country that needs to be starting to take care of their health better, it's men over 45, 50 years old. Sitting down 11 hours a day is a death sentence. You need to be up. You need to be active. At night, I stream on Twitch, and I did every single night for almost a year, and I was sitting in a recliner for only 2 or 3 hours, and I noticed an effect. On top of the time I have to be sitting here in front of the computer and all that. So I had to kind of step away, and I only do it a few nights a week now. This is the issue. These logbooks, these electronic logbooks, another huge reason. They're tracking your movement, everything you're doing, your speed, the tachometer of the truck, everything is being uploaded and it's being watched every minute, every second of the day. And if you just decide, you know what, man, I need a break. I need to just pull over and just stretch my legs and get some fresh air, they're not going to, not that they can stop you, I guess, but you're going to get a phone call. Why isn't the truck moving? Wait a minute, you were just on break X amount of time ago. And you're on supposed to be your driving time. And they will push you into a grave. Workplace fatalities by occupation category in 2015. Transportation and material moving higher by almost 50% than the number 2, construction and extraction. Seriously. Protective service occupations. It is 6 times more deadly to be a trucker than it is to be a cop. And here's a list I got off of one of their sites. They try to bury this. Possible causes for truck driver stress: aggression of other road users, finding a suitable place to rest, enforcement of driving hours, as I covered. You can't just take a break and relax. Implementation of the digital tachograph. That's where they just hound you about every little decision you make on the road. Different safety regulations on loading and unloading locations, length of working day, GPS planning that's completely wrong most of the time. Planner considering private situations, basically home time. Afraid of losing job by a cheaper driver. That's a huge one. Why it's down here at number 9. Because that's the thing. If you complain, if you work your way up, they say, oh, you're making only so much now, but after you've been with us for 5 or 10 years, you'll be making great money. Wrong. You'll never last that long. Insufficient aid on loading and unloading locations. Actually, that's the best part of your day, when you get out of the truck and you can actually start doing something physical. It's only an issue here because sometimes it takes longer than they've planned for, and then it throws everything off. Trust me when I tell you, this is not a job you want. I don't care what, there's no way to do it in a way that's healthy. There's no way to do it in a way that doesn't kill you. It is a horrible, horrible job. It used to be one of the best. You look back at the golden age, the old pictures of the old school truckers, you didn't see these guys that were 350 pounds and overweight. You saw big, strong guys, healthy guys, doing the job. Because they could work their own schedule, and the stress level was theirs to maintain and theirs to manage. And that's why they were seen as very attractive mates. But I guess all that's gone now. Because the left took it over, and you can't have any masculinity anymore. Toxic masculinity. If you want to find a source of it, the golden age of trucking to the left is like kryptonite. I'm sure a lot of you are laughing at this from Smokey and the Bandit. That was team driving back then. You had somebody go take care of the impediments to the delivery, and then you just put the hammer down and you went. And this is kind of the reason there's an issue on the West Coast, but not on the East Coast. In the sense that we have a little bit more of a cowboy mentality out here than they do out there. And all of their truckers are a bunch of whiny crybabies. Those who will still do it. I wouldn't recommend it, and I've done it. I had every endorsement that you could get. I had doubles, triples, I had tanker, I had hazmat, I had a passenger endorsement, Class A, the whole bit. And it is just not worth it. It is not worth it when you put everything together. It's a horrible job. It's one of the worst. It's not like it used to be. It used to be one of the best. It really did. Back in the days of paper logs and, being your own boss, there were guys that got their own trucks. They'd maybe have a small fleet of like 2 or 3 of them. Maybe had a couple guys working for them. They'd go out and make things happen and make loads get delivered and, do what they could do. But they, if they wanted time off, they could have the time off. They made hay while the sun shined and put money back, and they lived a very free, very wonderful lifestyle. And when it started to get to where the left wanted to be involved in it because of their emotions, because they would say, oh, this is bad, and this other thing bad, this other bad thing happened. And they took it over. Just like everything else the left puts its hands on, they ruin it. They ruin it and they destroy it. Liberty and freedom cannot exist with the left. That's why I hope the next time the left is out of power, we take the time to finish the job, so to speak, and make sure they're never in power again, because this country has been pushed to the edge because of the lack of men like this. So, anyway, I will leave it there and see you on the flip-flop. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.